In a Zoom call with reporters earlier this week, Nuggets head coach Mike Malone sided with Michael Jordan over LeBron James in the GOAT debate. Malone coached LeBron for 5 years as an assistant in Cleveland, but said he'd take MJ because of his, quote, killer mentality. So, Shannon, are you surprised Malone said this?
No, me personally, Skip, I like it. I want to hear coaches chime in instead of saying, they're both great players. But it was a slight against LeBron, and he did it in his own little subtle way. And, when they ask him, it's like, do you want players? He's like, well, I don't want players to be someone they're not. But that's exactly what you're saying. You want LeBron to be someone he's not. LeBron James is who he is. Skip, this notion that there's only one way to win a title, and you got to be cutthroat, and you got to be ruthless. Now, two guys that are diametrically opposite of each other. Michael Jordan over here, Tim Duncan. So what? Was Tim Duncan snatching people hard out, Skip? What about Kareem?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
See, Skip, stop it. Skip, stop. No, Skip Bayless. The man never said a word. Now all of a sudden he just fighting and punching people. No, he's not, Skip. Skip, look, I get it. LeBron James has never tried to be someone he's not. And I love that about him. This notion that there's only one way to win a championship, and that is to be ruthless and cutthroat. Hey, if that's your personality, I got no problem in going about something in the only way they know how, or a way that they seem that's best for them. Got no problem with that. But to try to force LeBron to be someone he's not, and to basically imply, well, the reason why he hasn't won as many is because he's not as ruthless. Huh? Man, come on, Skip. I get it. You like Michael Jordan? Hell, I like Michael Jordan too. Unbelievable. The way he took the league along with Michael, Larry, and Magic to heights that I don't believe it could have gone without them. But this notion is so utterly ridiculous, Skip Bayless, to say LeBron James hasn't won because he's not ruthless enough. Man, this is... But I will say that, I said all that to say this. I have no problem with what Mike Malone said. That is his opinion. I'm not trying to bash the man, but I believe it was a slight at LeBron and basically said, well, you'd have won about 2 or 3 more of these things if you were like Michael. But he's not like Michael. He's never tried to be like Michael. That was Kobe. Kobe tried to be like Michael, walk like Michael, talk like Mike, put the arm brand on his elbow and have the knee sleeve roll down over his calf. That was Kobe. LeBron said, I'm going to do it my way. And he's going to win a championship if they continue the season. They continue the season, this will be 4. And then what you going to say, Skip?
Is it finally my turn?
Yeah, it's
yes,
your turn.
It is my turn. And all I got to say is, finally! Somebody on the inside said what I have been saying for the last 15 years on national TV. The difference between Jordan and LeBron is killer mentality, killer will, killer intangibles. You cannot teach or coach. You just have them or you don't. And Mike Malone has credibility here because he coached LeBron James for 5 of his early years in Cleveland. In fact, his last 5 years, his first go-round in Cleveland, Michael Malone was on the bench as an assistant coach, watching it up close and personal as Mike Brown was the head coach. And Mike Malone went on the other day to say that Michael Jordan would just reach into your chest and pull your heart out if he had to win a game. That's it. Bingo, kaboom, thank you. It's that simple. We have the mentally toughest killer will on one side in Michael Jordan, and we have Shannon Sharpe and many others trying to make the case that this other guy over here is better than the original, the one and only 23. His name is LeBron James, who has shown you fairly routinely to be one of the weakest mentally of the superstar athletes we've ever seen. So what did Mike Malone get to watch up close and personal in his years as an assistant coach on the Cleveland Cavaliers watching LeBron James? Well, the first thing he got to watch was that series against the Orlando Magic in which LeBron hit the shot heard round the world. I had to suck it up and take it for like 48 hours, and I kept saying, okay. So he made a catch-and-shoot three with no time on the clock because he had no other choice but just to catch it and go up and shoot it, and he made it. Way to go, LeBron. You finally pulled one off. And yet I said, now watch what happens. And what happened? Games 3, 4, 5, 6, LeBron James slowly shrank. He was right on course. They were on course that it could have been LeBron versus Kobe in a finals. All anybody wanted to see at that point. And nope, LeBron was not up to the task. He did not have that killer mentality to seize the moment at one game all, going back to Orlando, and take over the series because he's the GOAT. He's on the way to being, no, he wasn't on the way to being the GOAT. There's only one GOAT, and there'll always be one GOAT named Michael Jeffrey Jordan, which led to the final series in his first go-round in Cleveland. Mike Malone on the bench watching this up close and personal. LeBron had maybe the greatest game of his career in Game 3 in Boston, and all of a sudden they're up 2-1, and what happened right on schedule? LeBron James disappeared. It got so bad that his owner, Dan Gilbert, accused him of quitting in Games 4, 5, and 6 of that series. Quitting! And it got so bad that LeBron's insiders had to leak information to ESPN that, he was having problems with a teammate in the locker room and had to be sedated for Games 4, 5, and 6. Baloney! He shrank. He disappeared. He could not live up to the pressure, which led right away to a series that Mike Malone wasn't a part of, but it was his first go-round after he took his talents to South Beach with the Miami Heat in the finals, 2011 against the Dallas Mavericks. They all had big games in Game 3, and they're up 2-1, and here we go again. Same time next year, 4, 5, and 6. It was the worst superstar meltdown we have ever witnessed in the history of sports. LeBron James in the 2011 finals, look it up. He just disappeared because he doesn't have that killer mentality. You give him an inch, he doesn't take the mile that Jordan would take. I'm sorry, it's just the essence of mentally toughest, sometimes mentally weakest. So please don't ever bring me any GOAT talk again. And please, if you would, don't ever wear that GOAT mask again on Undisputed because it's unbecoming of you and us. It's so beneath our dignity because it's just so painfully wrong. And I want to thank Mike Malone. Mike Malone showed you some killer mentality because he had the guts to say this, knowing full well that he now has to compete against the king in the Western Conference. Denver
what happens
is a factor. Yeah. And I think he was sending a message to his Denver Nuggets. He's sending a message to his Nuggets to say, hey, guys, the truth is he shrinks in the biggest moments, so there's no reason to be afraid of, quote, unquote, the king, because he doesn't have the killer mentality that actually I see more of in Jamal Murray than I see of in LeBron James.
Oh, really? First of all, Skip, let me ask you a question. So I want to make sure I'm hearing you and Mike Malone correctly. So Michael Jordan just started reaching in people's chest, players' chest, in 91, right? So he wasn't doing that in 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, and 90, huh? So only in 91 did he reach in people's chest. Because what happened then in 85, Skip? 3-1 Bucks. What happened the following year, Skip, in 86? 3-0 Celtics. What happened in 87, Skip? 3-0 Celtics. I'm trying to figure out when did he start reaching in players' chests and stealing their hearts and stealing their souls? When was this? Okay, what happened in 88, Skip? What about the bad boy pistol? Did he reach in Isaiah and Joe Dumars and Rick Mahorn? Did he do that? When? When did he start doing this? I need Mike Malone to tell me. Because I need Mike Malone to tell me when did Michael Jordan start doing this. It seems to me that Michael Jordan only did that in the years they won the championship because it seems to me that's all anybody cares about. But they don't care about 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90. Oh, but when he started eating, nobody else ate. Well, hell, he starved to death. How you going to start eating after 7 years? Don't do that. There's more than one way to win a title. What?
In '86, against the eventual NBA champions, one of the top defensive teams in the league held opponents to the lowest shooting percentage of any team in the league. The Boston Celtics, with big three Hall of Famers, 3 all-time greats. Michael Jordan, as we talked about earlier this week, scored 49 and then 63. And Larry Bird said it was God disguised as Michael Jordan. That's how he was snatching hearts, but he couldn't snatch all 3. He might have snatched 1 or 2, but he couldn't snatch all 3. And then he started running into the bad boy Pistons. And I also loved what Mike Malone said the other day in his interview. He said they were just trying to beat up on Michael Jordan. Every time he drove to the basket, he would wind up on his ass. They were playing football because the rules allowed them to play football. And this is a prelude and preview for what you're going to see in episode 3 on Sunday night of The Last Dance, because it's going to show you what the Pistons were allowed to get away with. It's why Sam Smith entitled his book about their first championship run of the Bulls, The Jordan Rules. The Pistons and Chuck Daly had to come up with rules to keep him from snatching their hearts. And it took 8, 9, 10 deep playing football on Michael Jordan because the rules allowed it in ways that LeBron has never gotten refereed. I'm sorry, that's the only way they stopped him, was they just beat the hell out of him and got away with it. They did it physically. They didn't do it by playing basketball. They played NFL brand football.
Skip, well, steal their souls. That's what you got to do. You're supposed to rip into their chest. You see what you did? Oh, the Celtics had 3 Hall of Famers. So what is Ray Allen, Paul Pierce, and Kevin Garnett? Are they Hall of Famers? What about Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond, and KD? Are they Hall of Famers? A simple yes or a simple no will suffice. I don't need to get into all this and all that. No, who did what? Are they Hall of Famers? Is Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili, Tony Parker, Kawhi Leonard? What needs a simple yes or a simple no? Judge, I need you to instruct the witness to answer the question.
No. Okay.
No, they not.
A simple yes, and I'll ask you a question. Is LeBron, in your mind and eyes, not the GOAT? Is it true that you've been saying, and I'm asking the judge and the jury this, you've been saying all along that LeBron James is greater than Michael ever thought about being? That's what you tell me every day, Judge.
I didn't
jury.
say that you not.
And is it true that he should be so great that it shouldn't matter that he got swept by 3 Hall of Famers? Oh, well, they weren't as great as he. He's the GOAT, right? And wait a second.
Hold on. But Michael Jordan, hold on, Skip. No, Skip, hold on. You said you knocked LeBron for getting swept by Golden State. But you don't knock Jordan for getting swept by the Celtics. You said he's the GOAT. Well, if your guy's the GOAT, why didn't he win? Why did he take 1 game?
Hey, he was...
One game.
Okay, wait a second. He was in his 2nd year, and he was able to play that year only 18 games, including the last 15, because he broke his foot, with minutes restrictions of 7 minutes a half leading up to that series against the eventual NBA champions and the team that Larry Bird said was our greatest team in all my years in Boston. So wait, he was only a sophomore in the NBA, only a baby, with a team that went, what was it, 30 and 52, had George Iceman Gervin in his final year as maybe his best teammate that year. And it took that team, with him playing only 18 games, somehow eked into the playoffs, and he's coming off a broken foot on a minutes restriction, and he scored 63 at the Garden and took the Celtics to 2 overtimes. That's extraordinary. That might have been his greatest achievement.
What you told me if the guy's out there, we don't make excuses. Because I told you that Tua came back against LSU after having tightrope surgery 2 weeks earlier. But you said you didn't care anything. The great Hall of Famer Shannon Sharpe tells me if the guy's out there, he's able to play, there's nothing wrong. That's what you told me. Now, all of a sudden, the jersey is on the other foot. Michael Jordan had a broken foot. He hadn't played. He was on a minute restriction. I don't want to hear none of that. You told me Michael Jordan is the GOAT. Okay, if he's the GOAT, and you say, I said LeBron is the GOAT, and you say, well, if he's the GOAT, why did he get swept? I returned the favor. And first of all, a defense attorney cannot question the prosecuting attorney, which I happen to be in this situation. You go into jail, Skip Bayless. Why didn't the GOAT? I just need to know, if you could just answer me this, why didn't the GOAT get past the big three Celtics if he's the GOAT? Why did he get swept?
I just explained it to you. And again, it was his second year in the league. And once again, you're trying to change the subject. And how dare you put Tua in the same sentence with Michael Jeffrey Jordan? We're going to get struck by lightning here. Our lights are about to go out. But the point was, let's get back to the point. Mike Malone, who coached LeBron James, just gave you the essence of why Michael Jordan is the GOAT, because of killer mentality. It's period, end of story. And I think to start this conversation, you actually acknowledge that was the case. You said, well, LeBron's just different. Yeah, he's different worse. Yeah. He's not as great as Jordan. No. Because in the end, it's about your will, killer will, assassin's will. Jordan had it. LeBron never has. Period. End of story. Case closed. You lose.
All I'm asking is, when did he get this killer will? When was he reaching in players' chests and pulling out their souls? It only seems to me happen in 6 of his 15 seasons. That's all I'm asking. Skip, here's the thing. Is a crocodile more dangerous than a killer whale? You do know killer whales sometimes have been known to play with their food. They will just flip it up in the air. They'll circle it. They do. But guess what? At the end of the day, the meal gets eaten. And at the end of the day, LeBron James going to get these titles. So however, hook or crook, we going to win more titles. And then what? Mike Malone, you're going to have to see us. So you're going to have to see us with them Nuggets.
So wait a second. So LeBron James was playing with his food against the Magic back in his Cleveland days, and then against the Celtics in his last go-round, his first time in Cleveland. He was playing with his food. And I guess against the Dallas Mavericks in the 2011 finals, he was just playing with his food, just flipping it around, and he got a little careless. Whoops, I lost 4, 5, and 6. I don't know what happened. I looked foolish. I was playing with my food.
Skip Bayless, I tell you what, you love John Wick. You're a John Wick guy. I'm a James Bond type of guy. Not only does James Bond sometimes have to kill the henchman, he also... No, you John Wick. You just want to kill up everything.
I watched him last weekend.
Exactly. And me, I'm a James Bond type of guy.
We need more time for Wick versus James Bond. We don't have enough time to get into that right now, guys.
Thank you for watching. You can subscribe here to get the latest from the show, and be sure to check out more of the best clips from Undisputed, or go watch a few other segments from our other shows on FS1.